I think that many people would regard being a woman in India as difficult. This is borne out by the fact that India as a country ranks in the bottom 25% of all countries on the Gender Equality Index. This is indicative of a number of factors in the country. Women are very poorly represented in the formal workforce. They are the victim of deep-seated prejudices, and violence against women is pervasive across all classes and all regions. I think we would have to regard the situation of women. I mean, there have been some improvements, but it is still arguably one of the most pressing and difficult development problems that India as a country is facing.
It sounds as though it's a mammoth task dealing with these issues in such a big and diverse country.
I think that's right, and I think the fact that in Parliament, out of more than 530 seats, only 61 of them are actually held by women. Approximately 11%, just a little bit over 11% of parliamentary seats are actually held by women. That means that the critical decisions that have to be taken about how the country is going to address this problem are being taken by men.
Where do you start? Is this something that you start at the top or at the grassroots, or both?
One of the impressive features about India is that it has such a well-organized and active civil society, and the women's movement as part of civil society has a long and very proud history, and the women's movement has been active on all of these issues, on political participation, on rolling back prejudices, on getting more women involved in the workforce and improving living conditions for them. We also have to recognize that India has very progressive legislation on the books, equal property rights and so forth. Now, the implementation of that, I think, is something which still is a challenge, but at least the progressive framework, by and large, is in place. We also have to recognize that there is real political will being generated to change things. The new prime minister recently elected has said that he regards women's security as one of his country's top priorities. So you take all that together, and I think that that indicates that a lot of people in India know that the situation is bad, and the situation has to change, and it has to change now.
How optimistic are you that change will come?
I think that one of the structural factors that impacts on the position of women is the widespread occurrence of dowry. When women are bought and sold through dowry, it impacts everything. And certainly addressing this very pervasive social practice would seem to me as one of the necessary conditions at a fundamental level for changing the status of women in the country.
Looking at India from the outside, it seems quite a progressive country, as you've said. What's it like in reality?
It's a privilege to serve in India. I think all of us who are posted there with the United Nations and with other international organizations feel that we are in India at a remarkable time in its history. The country is emerging as a great regional power, in fact, as a superpower. And to be there during that process is something which I treasure very much.